Good morning. It's been a week since the Lakeland Trails 100k, so apologies for not filming the end of the run and filming how it all finished. I'll get to the details of that a little bit later, but it's a beautiful Saturday morning here in Bradford, and I'm out on a little, I suppose, a recovery run, but a nice slow plod down into Halifax. And it's great to be back here in the fields and the tracks between Bradford and Halifax. Beautiful. Finished in 19 hours 13 minutes. I'm really pleased with that. Kind of like almost exactly halfway between where I thought I might finish of 20 hours and a half and where I felt like if everything went perfect I'd finish of about 18 hours. So I was pleased with that. So I guess I should start really with the positives. The positives were I was feeling really good for the large part of it, certainly the first 2/3. So my pacing was good. I ensured that my relative effort was as low as possible. If I ever felt out of breath, I slowed right down, did some deep breathing and slowed my heart rate as much as possible, and it worked. I was a long way, not a long way behind, but I was all the time thinking I can go a lot faster than this, but actually keeping the reins in really did help, certainly in the latter stages. Something else that went really well mostly was the fueling. I went full on precision fuel and hydration for this run, whereas before I've done a blend of the two, precision fuel and hydration and tailwind. But actually having the same product I think probably helps, down to, you know, the balance of the ingredients I've in there. The science behind it means that it's tailored exactly how it should be, rather than me sort of making it up in a way. So really pleased with that. And finally, what I was most pleased with was my resilience. I was in a lot of pain for that last definitely 14 mile, but probably 20 miles. I was hurting and all I wanted to do was stop, but I didn't, which pleased me because it told me that I could do this, that I wasn't just going to quit. Then the couple of DNFs that I've had in the past kind of affect my confidence quite a lot, so it was good to get out and really prove that I had it in me. On to the negatives then. What didn't quite go to plan? Well, as much as I said that the fueling did go to plan, actually it did go exactly to plan, but it was the wrong plan at a certain point. I'd planned on like I said, the precision fuel and hydration, the powder, the electrolyte powder, and the gels and the chews. But I'd also planned that by the time I get to Glenredding, I'm presuming that I'm going to have the taste fatigue. I'm going to be feeling sick, so I will just want to drink water. And to get my electrolytes in, I changed to the precision fuel and hydration electrolyte tablets. So it's just like taking a looks like a paracetamol or something like that. Now, as it happened, I got to Glenredding and I didn't have taste fatigue at all. I could have carried on drinking it, but I hadn't packed enough of the powders because my plan was to not use them. And then I started the section over to Grasmere, so going up to Grizedale Tarn. Got about 2 miles from the top of Grizedale Tarn, and one of the 55k runners came past me, says, "How are you feeling?" I said, "I'm feeling alright." And it seemed that that was a switch for my body just to shut down. I suddenly found I was trying to swim through treacle. My legs went to jelly, my head started spinning. Just everything seemed to go bad. It took me, I don't know, maybe 2 hours to get over that, to get my head back into feeling right again. But I definitely lost something in the region of maybe an hour at least, messing about with that. So I've learned from it, and hopefully next time I'll just stick with the powders and everything will be okay. Any other issues? Well, just the usual blisters that plagued me for the last 10 mile or so. All right under the ball of my feet. So every time I put a foot down, it squished this blister, and the blister was bubbling up between my toes. It was absolutely horrible. And that is what made it a hard finish. As far as my legs go, they were tired. They're going to be tired after that, but they weren't too bad. In actual fact, for the last, maybe 7 or 8 mile, I couldn't, on any flats, I couldn't walk because my legs were hurting that much. I had to run, which meant I kept going at a decent pace. The uphills I was fine, and I hiked all them, but the flats I could like get, I won't say speed going, but faster than a walk. I forgot to mention another one of the positives was the amount of sitting that I did, or I should say I didn't do, in the entire run. It says according to Strava, the difference between the moving time and the elapsed time was about 1 hour and a quarter. So over 19 hours, that's not bad. I literally sat down once for the entirety for maybe 5-10 minutes, and that was to go to the toilet about 5 in the morning. But other than that, I did not sit down, and I was in and out of those aid stations. I couldn't have been any quicker than I was in any of them. So lots and lots of positives. Talk about his choice of footwear. As you may or may not know, I went with the normal Tommy 2s for the day, although I did put the Speedgoat 5s into the drop bag just in case, but I didn't use them. So why did I make that choice when I've got such a love for the Speedgoats? Well, it was down to the conditions. I knew it had been very wet recently, so I knew there was going to be sloppy and muddy sections, and sloppy and muddy is not what the Speedgoats were made for and not what they perform best in. So I went with the Tommies, and I'm very, very glad I did. The grip gave me confidence at all times. I never felt like slipping at any point. That's quite interesting really, because the lug depth is exactly the same at 5mm, and they're both the Vibram Mega Grip. It must be the pattern of the tread, I guess, but I don't really know. The Tommy, I've got to say, wasn't quite as soft and cushioned as the Speedgoat, and my feet started aching a little bit. But then again, my feet would be aching anyway on such a long run. The same thing with the blisters. I did get blisters, however, on a run like that in such wet conditions, the blisters came from just generally having wet feet for such a long time, and I'd have got that in the Speedgoats, so I cannot blame the Tommy for that. Will I use the Tommies again for an ultra? I'll say definitely, but it is all down to condition. If I knew that it was going to be very, very dry and lots of hard packed, then it'd be Speedgoats all the way. If I thought that there was going to be slop in there, like the Chester 50 for instance, it would definitely be the Tommies. But pleased with my choice. So that is it. That was the Lakeland Trails 100k. Apologies one last time about not filming for the end. My brain was in a bit of a fuddle and ended up thinking I was pressing stopping and pressing record, and then recorded for 20 minutes, and then by the time I noticed it had recorded, the battery was draining. Eventually the battery ran out just before the last checkpoint. So it wasn't to be a film on the day, but it was a great day, and I shouldn't really be too hard on myself about that issue with the nutrition, because yeah, it's a learning experience. I am proud of the efforts and pleased with the efforts, but I do know there's improvement in that course, so watch this space. As far as future events go, there may be something on the horizon at the end of September, but more of that on a later episode. This was the Lakeland Trails 100k, and it was Dougie Does Stuff.